Hello everyone, my name is The Fox. This is Doom 2016 running on the GPD Pocket 2. As you can see right here, the resolution I've set down to 1280 by 720. Otherwise, the game will not run or load when it's set at the default resolution that the Pocket 2 runs at, which is 1920 by 1200. You can see the field of view is at 90 degrees. If we jump ahead into the Advanced tab, you can see that I am using OpenGL 4.5. Vulkan is not working. I've taken a look at memory usage, I've taken a look at some other things. Everything seems like it should be fine, even though this is the 4GB model. I am running this, I've run the same system, same driver, same everything on the Win2, and it loads fine on Vulkan. It will not load Vulkan on this, so I'm the only API backend that I can use is OpenGL 4.5. Having said that, OpenGL is still pretty fast considering. More importantly, the resolution scale you can see is 50%, which 50% of 720p is more like 507p. And if we go ahead and look at all the other settings, everything else is set to low. The only thing I set high was anisotropic filtering to 16 times because that doesn't really have a big performance hit. So let's go ahead and take a look at this, and I'll try to explain things as we're going along. So let's go right over here so I can mouse it. So right here you can see PL power limit 1, 4.5 watts. This is by default. This is the default TDP for the Pocket 2. So it's also nominal TDP for a 7Y30. It is a modified TDP because the normal TDP for it should be 4.5 and 7 watt. GPD sets it at 4.5 watt and 10 watt. And the PL2 10 watt isn't really a big deal because it only allows it to go up to that PL2 for about 26 seconds, 28 seconds or so, and then it'll go ahead and drop back down to 4.5 watt. That is really like just a race to halt condition type stuff where you're using it for web browsing and the machine needs a little bit more oomph for specific times. It's not going to be really something that you're going to get to see any benefit of in games. You'll mostly always be at 4.5 watt. This is CPU package power. You can see right now we're at 67 degrees Celsius. I am not propping up the device at all, so this is exactly how it would be for most people that are playing. If you're having the device flat on a surface, which most people will be. Obviously, if you were to prop this up, you would get better temperatures just because there would be more airflow coming to the fan, therefore allowing it to exhaust that heat a bit better. But I wanted to show you what it would look like when playing this game at default settings without really doing much. The only thing that I am doing is I have lowered the TDP, the undervolt to negative 50 millivolt both on the CPU and the GPU. And you will notice that this is a lot more, I want to say jerky. The frame rate is not as smooth as the Win2 is. We're running considerably slower than the Win2. Now there are things to kind of be aware of. Number one, we don't really have a bunch of options in the BIOS to go ahead and override the TDP settings. You can override the TDP in XTU. Headshot. But it kind of always wants to force itself back down to 4.5 watt. So there are some things that I'm still taking a look at. I know that Intel's design power and thermal framework sometimes interjects itself. I've already gone ahead and disabled that in services. Oh, there's someone behind me. Someone behind me. I'm getting destroyed. He's getting torn apart from behind. I have tried looking at very briefly just trying to increase power load. What the? Let me go ahead and bring out the big guns. Get out the boomstick. But I felt that this is also kind of representative of how most people are going to be playing this device, because I don't really believe a lot of people are going to be trying to increase performance of. Like, most people are just they're gonna get what they get, and that's all they'll have. Ugh. Son of a... So what should be immediately evident is that this does not play nearly as well as the Win 2 does. Do I have my chainsaw? I don't have that anymore. The one neat thing is that it does, because we have a full keyboard here, using WASD and the mouse is kind of possible. And if, I mean, obviously you wouldn't be doing this on your lap, but more or less this is just a performance benchmark, so to kind of help you gauge what type of performance you're going to be getting. And obviously Doom is very well optimized to even be running at such a low wattage right now. And that's the other thing really too, is that when you're running at anything, even at 8.25 watt, you're really going to be lowering your battery life. There's the chainsaw. Because the battery on the Pocket 2 is around 33% smaller than it is on the Win 2. So trying to maximize battery life, trying to maximize lower TDP really should be a concern. You can see that we're really chugging now that there's a lot of people in here. Son of a... Ugh. And its frame rate is pretty atrocious. Got more gas for my chainsaw. I have some like blasting lights. So it's kind of, we are at max brightness right now, by the way, just so you can see. So I don't think that I'm just trying to, the game is dark on purpose. Although I could have messed with gamma, which would have been better for recording. Yeah, we're at 9 minutes now. So I mean, more or less, this is something that you can clearly see. It's more than enough to tackle the power at 4.5 watts, even when I'm dead. When the device is flat against the surface. When it is like this for a while, this does get noticeably hot. I want to say it's about as, like, you know, as much as hot as laptops do get. It's super uncomfortable to hold like this. I don't want to hold it like this at all. But then again, you know, being able to just place it down and kind of move around. This temperature that it is right now on a lap would be uncomfortable. It's not burning hot, but it's just annoying warm. It's on the high end of warm. And that's just because this aluminum is kind of also a heatsink in and of itself. Anywho, that is a performance test of the Pocket 2 running Doom at 4.5 watts. It's playable. It's not really super enjoyable. I would really like to have that. This would be far more functionable at 8 watts, 8.25 watt. Again, I am having a little bit of difficulty forcing it to stay at that. Once this CPU package power kind of trips over a certain point, I am forced into a lower power wattage despite what I am setting in an XTU. Again, DTPF is off. There are some other power factors that I have to take a look at to see if I can disable them to stop that from being overridden. That's it for right now. We'll go and take a look at some other stuff. I'm going to just run some Dolphin emulation because that's another type of harder use case, and I don't think 4.5 watt is going to be enough. But I just want to show people it, and then I'll start doing some Linux tests after that. Thank you so much for watching.